Hello, bonjour, happy St. Valentine's Day. This is John Ball with Access Arts Live. I'm here out front from St Eustache Church in the heart of Paris, where they do a regular Sunday afternoon, early evening live stream of organ recitals every Sunday at 5 o'clock European time, 11 o'clock on the East Coast, 8 in the morning on the West Coast. They are always high quality. I'm about to be meeting with one of the two resident organist here at the church, Thomas Ospital, and he's going to tell us all about this organ. I'm very excited about it. We had a great sort of first conversation about it before doing this, and I will turn the camera around now so you can see the church as I'm walking up to it, walking up the stairs having come out of the metro. There's this glorious church. It's l'église St Eustache. It's these flying buttresses. It's enormous. And it's right here in the heart of Paris. Thomas is just inside the entrance somewhere, so he's going to be joining us. I want to tell you about Thomas without embarrassing him by taking him through it. He has been one of the resident organists here since 2015, so he knows this organ inside and out. And he's going to tell us all about it. He's also a professor at the Conservatoire National alongside Olivier Latry. Oh, and there goes the bell going off. That's a good sign. He's done a couple of recordings, one of the organ works of Franz Liszt on the Horus label, and also improvisations on works by Johann Sebastian Bach, because he's very dedicated to improvisation. And on the YouTube page of the of St Eustache organ, you can find his improvisations after masses where he's been. And I'm going to turn this camera around again so you can see him as I go in, and I will head in, and hopefully this is the entrance where he means to meet me. Voila! So I've got the camera turned in your direction.
Fine.
Thank you so much for meeting us and doing this. This is exciting. This is our first live stream interview of a content creator.
Good.
And so there will be others after this, but since you helped us get started, I mean, you're the guy that did it.
Okay. Thank you very much and welcome to St Eustache.
Yes.
So let's go to the choir loft.
Okay. Okay. This.
The organ is quite sporty.
Yes.
Very interesting.
Okay.
Yes.
Do I close the door? Or leave it? Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
This is the first tell-all secret. Nobody gets to come up here.
This very charming place, which will deliver us to heaven. And that is something. If you put the camera just in the front, and you will see what is the view every time we open the door.
Is that the year on that pillar there?
Well, it's one of the year, because in fact the church have been built in 100 years actually.
Okay.
So yeah, it was step by step, and all of course the facade of the church is much later. Much later. The rest is quite, yes, around the 1538.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty early. And there's another console here.
Well,
there's two 5-manual consoles.
Absolutely, they are basically the same. Yeah, they quite look the same, but they don't have exactly the same disposition, because this one is truly mechanical, working with Barker level, and the other one is electric, but I can maybe explain more in details in some minutes.
We'll get to that when we start talking about the workings, actual workings of this organ. Are you going to sit down at this console then? Okay.
Yeah. So here we are.
And there's the inscription that says "Glory to God." Is that it?
Exactly. Yes. Soli Deo Gloria, which is yes, and this is actually the sign of the city of Paris.
It is.
Yes, absolutely. because the organ, when it has been built in 1989, has been built by the city and paid by the city of Paris.
Okay.
So they wanted to put the sign of the city on the middle of it.
Now, why does a city like Paris have a boat, like a Viking boat on its?
Because it is all the city have been built around the Seine.
Okay.
And of course, this is something which is very important.
Okay, so it's a port city,
Yeah.
even though it's not right on the ocean.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Now, there were some questions pre-planned. I have some pre-planned questions. I'm blown away by what's happening so far. But anyway, there's some pre-planned questions I had. I wanted to start with, I think we talked about this before. This is admitted to be one of the two great organs in France. This one and Notre Dame. They're about the same size, same number of pipes, roughly the same number of stops. Notre Dame might have a couple more stops.
Yeah,
I'm not
exactly,
sure.
Yeah, Notre Dame has more stops, and here we have more pipes.
Right. And then there's a third great organ over at St Sulpice, a Cavaillé-Coll organ. I don't know what the Notre Dame organ is, because it seems to be layers of builders. This one's of Den Heuvel.
Yeah.
So there is a builder for it. And St Sulpice, there's Cavaillé-Coll.
Yeah.
But Notre Dame,
Notre Dame it has followed the time, I would say, and you have many steps,
layers,
instruments. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can't just say it's a such and such organ.
No.
Now, my impression, and I'm not a musicologist, and I mentioned this to you before, which is one reason why I want to bring it up, because you had a very interesting take on it, is that these organs seem to have a default sound. The sound at Notre Dame, to me, sounds very brilliant, very brassy. The sound at St Sulpice struck me as very sweet. The one time I heard a concert there, and it didn't matter what music they were playing, there was a sweetness to that sound. Here, it seems to me more balanced, like you can go either way.
Well,
is that about right, or do I not know what I'm talking about?
No, it's not really that. I think that it's really linked to the building.
Okay.
Actually, between the three churches you have mentioned, Notre Dame, St Sulpice, and St Eustache, it's the shorter one. It's the shorter one of the church. Is the highest church, but it's absolutely not the longest one.
Okay.
So, and also the design of the building, as you can see, the second nave inside this building in St Eustache, they are very high ceiling too. So
the second nave.
Yeah, I would say
those things on the sides.
Exactly.
Can we just go take a look at? So I did want to have you point out what you meant by that.
So what we call le déambulatoire,
right?
The second nave, it's very high ceiling inside.
Okay.
And the thing is,
then you have this lower ceiling on the sides.
Exactly, but it's already very high.
Yes.
And in many churches, it's very, very slow.
Oh, more like a gallery.
Exactly. So the sound, in fact, goes straight to the front nave.
Yes.
But here, the sound goes here, but also goes in the side, which makes that the people are listening to the organ. It seems that the sound is coming from everywhere.
Well, I know that, for instance, when I'm at these live stream these concerts live, you have the organ console right there. I'm showing there. We're sitting all around it. The pipes are right up here,
exactly.
And we feel like we're in the middle between the console and the pipes.
Yeah.
It is immersive.
Yeah. It's something very special. The sound comes from everywhere, and it's a very warm sound, I would say.
Yes.
But that comes in a big part from the acoustic, which is, I think, exceptional in that church.
Okay, so this is another secret. The secret is that the sound of the organ depends as much on the acoustic as on the equipment itself.
Well,
I think you said something about how Notre Dame, you had to push the sound out to get it through the church so it gets brassy.
I mean, Notre Dame is a much bigger church, much bigger, much longer, and also the organ case is very high. It's very high, and the way it has been sold by Cavaillé-Coll, it was to make a huge organ of really to push sound in the cathedral.
Mhm.
He was very clever on that. For example, Cavacan, when he did design the organ of St Sulpice, it was completely another story. He wanted to make a colorful instrument. And so in St Sulpice, he have made so many stuffs that you will never see again in another Cavacan.
Uh-huh.
Of the variety of the 8 stars, for example. Really, I would say St Sulpice is like a painter colors, you know.
It's more nuanced.
Exactly. You can really make some so refined details, and Notre Dame, I would say, is more uh, yes, an instrument which we have to push the sound. It's
Power.
like a powerful instrument, and all the design. I mean, the sound design, the construction inside also, it is in that direction.
Uh-huh.
And this is something is, I think, really makes the difference. And here, well, it's a modern instrument, so there is a lot of different style on it. I would it's not a symphonic instrument completely. It's a,
Mhm.
I would, a modern instrument where you can have a lot of different aesthetic. So in fact, it's complicated to compare the 3 instruments. But I think we are very lucky actually in Paris to have these 3 huge, completely different
Sure,
instruments.
sure.
This is I think a lucky.
And you've played all 3 of these organs.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
So you really know what you're talking
Yeah.
about. Okay. Well, that was one thing that I wanted to talk about. What else? Let me ask you about the programming
Mhm.
that you do. I know there's another resident organist that's Baptiste Florian Mal-Ouvrard, whose name I absolutely adore. But so did the 2 of you sit down and plan out what the programming is going to be, or is it week to week or month to month? How does this?
Well, that first is when we got the job now 10 years ago. Already,
Yeah.
That was something which was already on. I mean, these Sunday recitals.
Yes.
It was maybe it was later. It was at 5:30, just 1/2 hour before the mass, and now we move it at 5 to get more time.
Sure.
Actually, between the concert and the service. So we actually took the same spirit of this audition. And what we wanted with that is actually it was a place for the titular organist to play. And once a month, we invite one of my students of Paris Conservatory of the organ class.
I have noticed. Yes.
So they are actually it's a challenge for them because they are lucky to have a full church of auditors to play a recital, and they are always very excited, I think, to make that recital. And then it's I mean, it's a good challenge for them, and I think it's always wonderful to see how these people really.
Well, I noticed when Melody Michel was here was it last week? She was playing Widor's symphony, which I thought was very challenging for a student to be playing, especially with that final movement, that ba 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 ba, which is so easy to screw up. And I saw that you were standing right behind her, turning the pages for her, and I thought, well, you know, maybe that helps her confidence too. I don't know.
I don't think they need me. I think they are very good. They work very well. I don't have to say that too much.
Yeah.
What they will stop, but I'm very proud of them.
Well, the live streamers online, I was here for the concert and enjoying it, but the live streamers online, they really loved that final movement.
Yeah.
They were all very happy that she took her time with it, that she kept it going, but that she didn't rush it, which is the temptation. Yeah. So that was really fine. And what I also thought was that particular symphony also allowed for showing a lot of different registers of this organ, from pianissimo all the way up to you know, triple forte.
Oh, well, this is part of that repertoire, which is symphonic repertoire. So using that term means that they wanted to use the organ more as an orchestral instrument,
yes,
with a different sound, with a lot of dynamic from the pianissimo, as you say, to the fortissimo. Then everything in the composition of that make this very orchestral sound. So, and of course, in that instrument, I think it works quite well. Yeah, but to return actually on the programmation of that,
yes,
we don't even try to have I would say special direction on that. It's just a way for Parisian tourists or organ fans to have the opportunity to listen the organ repertoire
Yes, but
every Sunday.
well,
I mean,
if I may disagree with you, even though you're the one doing it, earlier this month you did a piece, one of the two organ works of Franz Liszt that were composed for the organ, not other things transcribed for the organ. Yeah, and the following week, Marlou Vrard did the other of those two pieces. Well, that seemed pretty thematic to me.
It's a coincidence. Actually, I have to say, it's a coincidence.
Okay.
We don't really try to think about general things. I mean,
well, it's good to clear that up.
We put a quite versatile programmation, going from Baroque music to the contemporary music.
Yes.
And because this instrument actually, with some arrangement, allows to play a very large repertoire, and I think it's a chance for the public to get the chance to listen a very large music. Okay,
now I want to ask a couple of questions about you, which were not previewed, but one of them is I know that I've read that you're very interested in improvisation. I saw on YouTube you put up improvisations when people are leaving mass. So apparently you planned that out, that I'm going to do a improvisation. We're going to record this and all of that. It's not just by chance that those are up there. And I know that you did a recording of improvisations on Bach.
Yeah.
Which also involved another organist whose name escapes me now. I don't have it written down. But it was somebody else's studies of Bach.
Thierry Esquèche.
Thierry Esquèche, the terrific composer.
Yeah,
so this is great. My question is, once you start improvising, you're sort of creating music. Do you have interest in composing as well? Because this is the French tradition of organist composers. You're coming after Messiaen, Louis Vierne, Marcel Dufray. And you play their music.
Well,
so,
to be honest, I don't have this pretension, but I do some composition. I have composed some music for the organ or for choir. And I am happy to do it on, I would say, on my tempo. I mean, I don't try to push that part of my.
Not at this time.
Exactly.
Okay.
No, I'm very focused on. I'm playing, practicing, and performing music on live, which is more my specialty, I would say.
Okay. The other question was, I think this is a little bit like a secret thing, because I think people may not know it. You spent 6 months in the United States, down in New Orleans, was it? How was that?
Oh, that was amazing. I mean, everyone who went to New Orleans can say it's an amazing city.
Yeah.
And I've been very lucky, yes, because at the time when I was studying in the Paris Conservatory, we had a partnership between the St Louis Cathedral of St Louis Kirk of France in New Orleans and the Paris Conservatory. And we were sending students for 6 months, and he was artist in residence in the cathedral. So he had to play for the service, had to accompany the choir, play some solo recital there. And, there's a worse city to enjoy the life than New Orleans. That was amazing 6 months.
Yeah, that's a very particular American city. I mean, it's a little bit like, say, if an American were to spend 6 months in Marseille.
Yeah, well,
it's a very specific place.
It is, but I really loved it.
Okay.
Pretty much.
All right. Well, now, okay, we've talked about how great this organ is. We've talked a little bit about you. A couple of weeks ago, you did a concert. Your concerts afterwards, the recitals, the recording always goes up. And in fact, that week I got complaints from one of our followers. He said, "John, what's wrong with this link? There's no recording there." He was very upset with me. And I was here at that recital, and I noticed at one point a note got stuck in the middle of performing. And so I guessed, maybe he just didn't put the recording up because there were problems with that note or some other problems that day.
Yeah, well, I really apologize for that previous followers.
No, I explained to him later.
But in fact, yes, the problem was a 7 note was suffering during the concert.
Right.
So that was absolutely ruining the music.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, it's what's happened very often with that instrument. In some point it's a gorgeous instrument, and in some other point it's a very fragile instrument, to be very honest. And I can explain why.
Well, before we get to that, there's one other subsidiary question which came to mind, which I did want to ask, because usually when I do research on the organs, it says who built the organ, and then it says who maintains it.
Okay.
So Van Den Heuvel built this organ. Have they been the ones responsible for maintaining it for the last 30 years, or is that some other company?
No, of course, it's not easy to bring an organ from Dutch, from Netherlands, to maintain the instrument. So we have some French organ who maintain the instrument regularly in the year, and so for the moment, Van Den Heuvel doesn't come anymore for the
Okay, so now you're going to tell me what's wrong with this organ and why it needs renovation.
Yeah.
Now we get to this part, which I did want to get to, but I needed a transition.
Good. Well, so actually, we found it several problems. We will start by I would say some very consideration, like you have two consoles, as you have noticed in the beginning of your interview. You have two consoles in that instrument, but in fact, there's not a double action instrument as we usually have when you have a two console.
What do you mean? They're supposed to be connected and they're not?
No, it means when you have a double action, it means that when you have one console, you have a real mechanical action.
Yes.
And the other one is completely electric. It means that the magnets are inside the chest, the chest of the organ, and doesn't react with the mechanic. Okay. But in fact, here we could say it is a mechanic instrument which can be played electrically. It means, in fact, all the magnets are before the Barker machine. They are just after these keyboards here. It means that every time you play the nave console, you make on action the magnets, which are making on the Barker machine and all the mechanic inside.
Now, Mike, that does not mean, though, that if you play a key on the manual downstairs during the recital, that the keys up here are moving.
Absolutely.
As if like a ghost concert.
Exactly. If you put a camera here, that would be very disturbing because you have all the keys which are moving along.
I think that'd be really cool. Actually, like for Halloween, you could have like a ghost figure here.
I think a video inside in YouTube where you can see the keyboard moving along. Yes, that is exactly what's happened. But that actually makes the system quite complex, because you have a double system, electric plus the mechanic. Which means that the organ is used very, 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 very much, and the tracker actually is used very much. Also, what we have been noticing by the time being here is the Barker machine are quite strong, which is good. I mean, they are very strong, but they are stronger than what can support all the mechanic after it. So very often we have a lot of wood piece, metal piece, or leather piece which are cracking. And so when
would that be these long slats?
Exactly.
Let me do this. I can put up an image of that. Let me show you this. This is going to be really cool. I think what you're talking about. Hold on, waiting for it to come up.
Exactly. When you see there. These
let me do this. I'll turn this camera around so we can see you in the lower right hand. There.
If you see in the little wood part, you have a red ends of it, and you have a little piece of metal which is going to a wood part again, and these metal parts are cracking very often. Very often. So I have to change that actually. Well, I have all my maintenance things because I do myself, because it's cracking every week.
So you're up there yourself fixing,
because
cutting and pasting.
I don't have the budget to bring an organ every single week to make that job. So
and it's you that does it? Does Marlou Verhard ever do it, or is this you?
It's my part. It's my part. But I like it.
Well, I have some other images that you used. You had a video that you did about the renovation, so I thought I could show some of these different images, and you could sort of explain what we're seeing to people there. That's one of the pipes. Right?
This is pipes. Well, the pipes are good, good quality of metal. So what we were planning to do with that. It's just revoicing a lot of them, make more equal, because it's normal with the time, with all the dust on it. They're not very much equal, so they have to be reworked, I would say, which is quite normal.
You were in that video. You were, for instance, you got very specific, which I thought was really great. You were pointing like at specific how you have to equalize these sides.
Yeah, well, exactly. Well, I mean, a pipes works like a flute, I would say,
right.
And you have many parts of it. You can work on it to change the sound. You have, of course, the opening here that we call the la bouche.
La bouche, the mouth.
The mouth. The how high it is, it's very important. So that can be reworked. Also, how you walk on the on these lips, up lips and down lips.
Yeah,
is how they are connected. How you work in the equalization of the metal. Also, it's very important.
And you have to fix this with like 8,000 pipes.
Yes.
Now, does temperature also have an impact on these pipes? Here's another example of another part of it that'll show up.
Well, this is what we call the expression. This is very typical of the symphonic instruments.
Okay.
So that has to be very set very carefully, because that has a huge impact on the sound.
And this has to be done 7,900.
Exactly.
Times.
Well, but this is not the most complicated part, in fact, because as I say, the pipes are good, and this is okay. Well, this is in a solo part.
Yeah.
You are front of an oldest pipe from Den Heuvel. This is from Gonzalez.
Okay.
Yeah. This is the.
And you have horns. You have horizontal horns. I didn't know that.
This is a chalumeau.
Yeah.
And it's a very narrow reed sound.
Okay.
And next to it you have the ronquette, which are very, very specific stops, which sounds very, 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 very narrow. It's very special. And next to it you have the chamade, but which are in fact inside the organ, on the top of the instrument.
Yeah, you don't see them.
No, you cannot see. No.
I didn't think you had them, so I was
happy
to find
in the very top of it, but it's very high, so they don't have the effect really of a chamade.
Well, I consider all of these secrets as to how this thing actually works. I wanted to show you one other thing, one other image, just to show you how lucky you are here at this church. I'm going to turn the camera back facing you. What I wanted to show you is this, okay?
Yeah.
Now, do you see this church here?
Yeah.
There are maybe 12 people in it. I'm not going to name what church it is. They have a weekly organ recital.
Okay.
There's nobody there. I mean, there's nobody there, and you have hundreds of people.
Wow.
You know, so I think that's just.
Well, we are very lucky, but it's there's many reasons of that. I think, as I said, and you have mentioned it, people who listen to the instrument, they really like it, in fact, because, it's easy to listen to that organ.
Here's what you have instead.
Yeah. Yes, it's true. But it's not difficult to listen to that organ. It's loud enough, but not too pushy. It's the sounds come from everywhere, so the people like really much that place. Also, I would say we are in a very central part of Paris. It's very easy to get to that church. It's one of the biggest metro station next to it.
Well, that's true.
And also, I mean, all the spirit of that church is all around the art and the music.
Yeah.
So everyone is very welcome to enjoy some music and art in that church. And so, yes, we are very lucky, and we hope it will continue. And it's one of the reasons we need to get from this restoration to continue this tradition. Okay,
so now we get to the financial part.
Yeah.
About how you can name a pipe.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, so tell me, how does this works? They have like different levels of contribution.
Yeah, exactly. Well, first of all, the amount of the budget is more than 3 million euros.
Okay.
But we talk about one of the biggest instruments in France.
Yeah.
So it's not. I mean, we are not stealing the money. I mean, when even making a scaffolding just front of that organ costs already a lot of money. You know, we have to say the truth. So,
well, are they going to work on the organ in place, or do they have to dismantle it and take it to a workshop?
It depends of which company will win the competition and what will be their plan.
Okay, so there'll be a competition.
They will have to work in their workshop, and for many parts, you know, it's probably the case. So, for how we can finance that, we have made the possibility of people to sponsor a pipe. So we have find different financial categories of it. It goes from €30 to €500.
Okay.
And in fact, so the people can go to the website of the association Les Grandes Orgues de St Eustache and go to support pipes.
We'll put the link together with this video so help them.
You can go and find your category, and after I do research myself, the notification, that people have supported this category, and so after on my computer I have a Google Drive where I put for every stops the number of pipes. So it's 61 pipes for each stops. So I put the name after in the stops of the same category, and I do myself the certificate, and I send it to the people.
Okay, now let me ask you this: if you give €30, do you get a smaller pipe?
Exactly.
And if you get 5, now here's the question: what is the longest pipe that you have? How many?
Well, it's a 32 foot.
Oh, so you do have 32 feet pipes.
I have 5.
You have 5.
Yeah,
okay. No, I've heard people brag they had 3. You've got 5, so that's
we have 5.
impressive.
We have, in fact, 3 in the pedal. We have the principal. We have 2 32 foot reeds. We have 1 32 foot in the great organ, and we have 1 32 foot reeds in the swell.
Okay.
Which is is a half length. I have to be honest. It's a half length, but all the rest is a full length. It's a very impressive.
Full length 32.
It really goes into all the big case.
That's real bass.
Yeah, it gives all this body to that instrument, because it's one of the sensations when you listen it. The bass part is very profound and really warms you up. So yeah, it comes from this quality of foundation stops we have actually. And yes, so it goes from this very low stop to that actually. It's an audition test actually. If you are not listening to it, it's a problem. Yeah, and that is €30 pipes, and that was 500 euro pipes.
Okay.
Yeah. So yes, here is the way, and actually we need the support of everyone to make this big adventure going on. I think, I'm very glad to see all these people coming to the concert. So it's their organ. It's for them, this instrument. So it's very important they feel that, and so they can support us actually, because we need all that to make this organ coming in the better shape very soon.
Even better than the one at Notre Dame Cathedral. I can say that if you can't. I want to thank you so much. I want to have a little selfie moment with you, which we might be able to somehow copy out or do a screenshot of.
I have a last secret.
Okay. You have a last secret that you want to tell? Yeah. Okay, that's great. I was hoping you would have one. Okay. What's the last secret?
I will show you my little summer rooftop.
Okay.
So you can follow me.
All right, I'll do that.
Okay. So
are we going further up, or?
No, not too far. It's one of my rooftop. So just stay.
Oh my! We're way in the back here.
Pay attention.
Yeah,
here
I'm following. Je vois.
Okay, we will go back here.
Oh my! Okay.
Then here there's no light, but it's just a little stairs here.
Okay.
And up.
Oh my!
That could be worse, no?
Yeah.
That could be worse.
Wow.
Well, this is where I take my morning Sunday coffee.
Uh-huh.
It's It's quite a
before
nice
the
place.
Mass.
Yeah, exactly. So
Somehow it's very seigneurial, I would say. It's like the Lord, or like a bishop, looking out
exactly.
down on the common folk up there. Oh, it's very royal.
Yeah.
Très aristocrate de voir le monde comme ça.
Yeah.
Super. And we have a sunny day to
Yes.
see it with.
Well, sometime in Paris can be sunny.
Okay. Well, let's finish it up here then. I'll turn the camera around one more time to the front, so you can see both of us side by side.
Good.
Are we both in it? Okay.
Voilà.
Thank you so much. That was a terrific live stream. Ciao for now from Access Arts Live. We'll be back on Monday with our usual roundup.